let me bring our attention to this particular chart, and it is just basically incredible. All right, now what we're paying attention to here is a new variation in the Mediterranean diet. What researchers want to do is draw a comparison between HDG, Healthy Dietary Guidelines, the regular Mediterranean diet, and then they want to supercharge the polyphenol content and lower the red meat intake with the green Mediterranean diet, which is close to about double the polyphenol content. Now, this study ran 18 months, so keep that in mind, and the average age was about 51. So we're not looking at, we're looking at an age group which is normally associated with being metabolically challenged. But even then, the results were amazing. Oh, by the way, caveat too, physical exercise was incorporated about 80% of aerobic capacity. So I just want to keep that in mind as well. We'll approach that again in a second. But let us look. That's amazing. That is just incredibly amazing. The results between visceral adipose tissue, or visceral fat, subcutaneous adipose tissue, which is the SAT, and if you go down below here, you're going to look at an explanation what each one does and its importance. Subcutaneous adipose tissue, what it does, as well as the VAT, which is not a European tax. But you can see right there, that is just incredible. Now, also in the dietary guidelines, what they did, which we'll cover towards the end, in the Mediterranean diet, they basically substituted the dinner with the shake, which utilizes Wolffia globosa, Mankai, Asian watermelon, or duckweed. But however, though, just the same, not that familiar in Western part of the world, but however, though, in Asian cultures, obviously it is quite predominant. But still, just the same, this is going to put duckweed on the map because people don't realize what type of superfood duckweed truly is, including containing biologically active B12, folic acid, complete proteins, and so on and so forth, as well as being one of the world's smallest flowering plants, is just as a curiosity. But it is just incredible. So with that in mind, the bonus too. If you go to the supplemental information, let's check out the cholesterol factors there. You're not going to find that in the full study towards the front, but if you go to supplemental info towards the bottom, you'll check that out too. The researchers probably didn't want to approach that too directly because of potentially the p-value in the LDL is not necessarily listed as a clinically significant. I think 0.114. You see it, I don't. But still just the same, the other factors, pretty darn cool. All right, just the same, let us get into the study itself. Don't need these. All right, here we go. So the green Mediterranean diet reduces twice as much visceral fat as the Mediterranean diet and 10% more than a healthy diet. Again, HDG, which shows healthy dietary guidelines. Think of that as your government-promoted diet as opposed to the other two. The green Mediterranean diet, MED, significantly reduces visceral adipose tissue, a type of fat around the internal organs that is much more dangerous than the extra tire around your waist. Oh, as a side note, yes, waist circumference was also reduced quite significantly after 18 months. And again, in this age group, which tends to be metabolically challenged, the 51 area. But still, we'll cover that towards the end. To proceed, the green Mediterranean diet was pitted against the Mediterranean diet and a healthy diet in a large-scale clinical interventional trial, Direct Plus. Subsequent analysis found that the green med diet reduced visceral fat by 14%, the med diet by 7%, and a healthy diet by 4.5%. The study was published in the BMC Medicine. All right, then you go with the rest of the public release, and it's pretty much anticlimactic. But let's go to the full study, where the true meat, I should say, low meat, of the data is presented. To proceed. Full study. In the 18-month dietary intervention randomized controlled trial, polyphenols unprocessed direct plus weight loss trial, 294 participants were randomized to a healthy dietary guideline, HDG, med, or green med diets, all combined with physical activity, again, 80% aerobic capacity. Both isocaloric med groups consumed 28 grams a day of walnuts. Real interesting finding in urolithin A, as we'll get towards the end too. plus which adds about 440 milligrams a day of polyphenols. Polyphenols, important. The Green Med group further consumed green tea 3 to 4 cups a day. Now you can have EGCG, ellagic acid, and stuff like that, alligatitins, which can possibly introduce some confounding. So let's stick with the dietary parameters in the study itself. But however, though, just the same, if the outcome you're looking for is reduction in visceral fat, subcutaneous fat, waist circumference, and weight, yeah, score. All right, 3 to 4 cups a day. And Wolffia globosa, duckweed strain, plant green shake. There are other Wolffia globosa strain, Wolffia, the other duckweed strains. So keep that in mind. If you're searching for it, Wolffia globosa, consult your medical professional. Plant green shake, 100 grams of frozen cubes a day, which added 800 milligrams a day of polyphenols and reduced red meat intake, just for the sake of them taking the evening meal and replacing it with the shake. Quote, we use magnetic resonance imaging. There's some information you see there in the supplemental information where they show some groups of men and the advanced benefits of each diet. All right. Now, a little detail. I'm going to go kind of fast and slow down during the important parts, so please forgive me. But we have a lot of ground to cover. Both Mediterranean and Green Med diets were equally caloric restricted. Approximately 40% of total fat was mainly from polyunsaturated fatty acids and monounsaturated fatty acids that consist of less than 40 grams a day of carbohydrates in the first 2 months, with increased gradual intake up to 80 grams a day. In addition, both med groups included 28 grams a day of walnuts, containing about 440 milligrams of polyphenols, gallic acid equivalents. We did a study on gallic acid before, remember, in osteoarthritis. And we also did a study on Urolithin A, which we'll get to in a second, including most alligatanins, ellagic acid, and its derivatives. Participants from the Green Med diet were instructed to avoid red meat and processed meat and were guided to consume 3 to 4 cups of green tea and 100 grams of frozen Wolffia globosa. I love to see this product itself because, honestly, if you look at duckweed, if that was a medication or exploratory medication, it'd been patented in the market. It'll be the next big thing regardless. But to proceed, since it's not, it's common, I'm glad I get an opportunity to present it to you. Wolffia globosa, the Mankai cultivated strain, plant cubes, approximately 20 grams of dry Mankai. A specific strain of Wolffia globosa, an aquatic plant in the duckweed family, very smelly, is characterized by high protein content. This is an incredible superfood, besides being smelly. More than 45% of dry matter, and the presence of 9 essential and 6 conditional amino acids. This is a plant. The Mankai plant is rich in insoluble fibers, vitamins, including vitamin B12 and folic acid, biologically active form of B12. All right? And minerals. So people want to say, B12, you can only be formed animal sources. Really, the only reason I'm saying that is because it didn't look hard enough. B12 could also be produced biologically active form through certain fermentation process with dairy as well, which we covered earlier. And minerals include iron and zinc. We guided the participants prepare a green Mankai shake with additional ingredients, part of the diet regimen of fruits, walnuts, and vegetables each evening. The green protein shake was partially substituted for dinner, replacing beef, poultry, and protein sources. In total, both med diets have the same calorie restriction. Green tea Mankai provide an additional daily intake of approximately 800 milligrams of polyphenols. And the health benefits of polyphenols is becoming quite intriguing. All right, now, we got that down on regard to the duckweed shake. It is really cool. A lot of people are looking for the how to manufacture it, make it themselves. I don't know, it depends what your kitchen's like. But still, just the same, I want to pull out this one tidbit of gold from the information as well in reference to Urolithin A. An exploratory analysis of urine polyphenol compounds showed an increase in Urolithin A was strongly correlated with reduced visceral adipose tissue, visceral fat, even after adjusting for multiple comparisons for 139 identified metabolites. Urolithin A was significantly associated with lower visceral adipose tissue fat. Adjusting for age and sex remained significant even after adjusting for WC, waist circumference change. The increase in Urolithin A was significantly correlated with increased consumption of walnuts and duckweed, Mankai. All right. Here's the data in reference to the waist circumference. You can see right there. I'm just going to read off the Green Med. The weight loss after 18 months was 3.9%. But but keep in mind, with the exercise regimen, you don't know, and I would like to have seen the study go into more detail, increase or loss in lean muscle mass. So weight is really not a great indicator in reference to the benefit, especially with a lot of athletes there. They're aware of this. Waist circumference, after 18 months, 5.7%. Now, again, the takeaway is the age group. So looking around the age of 51, which normally is seen as a very, very difficult age group in which to enhance metabolism, especially in a dietary manner such as this, just by the consumption of a green med diet with this particular polyphenol-rich shake, which is basically recognized for having high levels of urolithin A, which you have to say, since the walnut group had urolithin A and the duckweed shake had urolithin A, they both showed great benefit over the healthy dietary guideline thing, but still just the same, other factors must be in play besides the incredible effect of urolithin A. Didn't mean to make that rhyme, but now, I know it's kind of sketchy in regard to the information being released in reference to the diet, so I went to two different sources. I pulled up the clinical trials, .gov, basically what was required and what they looked for in the study itself, as you can see right there, and also found in the supplemental information, albeit not columnized, if that's such a word, like I would like to see, because you could see how it can blend in, your healthy dietary guidelines, your basically Mediterranean diet with a polyphenol content, and of course your green med diet, which I guess is going to put duckweed in the map, at least for this hemisphere. But still, incredible product. It'll be a product. Incredible dietary aid in reference to enhancing one's health, in reducing visceral adipose tissue, as well as, again, as we looked at the beginning, the effect it has on the metabolism, cardiovascular health, and so on and so forth, and subcutaneous adipose tissue as well, and the health challenges for having high levels of that, and how this particular dietary paradigm really helped bring those into a more tolerable existence. But the results were just astounding. Gratitude to the researchers, as always, for bringing this to our attention. I am humbled you watch, and look forward to see you all once again next week. And I can tell you right off the bat, this looks cool. I'm trying to explore it once again myself. Catch you all next time. See you then. Bye.